Yesterday, the U.S. Open men's final in Queens, New York, became more than just a tennis match between Jannik Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz. As the national anthem played, President Donald Trump's image appeared on the stadium's screens, triggering a wave of loud boos from the crowd. This spontaneous reaction from thousands was a raw expression of public sentiment, captured clearly by the broadcast. The moment highlighted how major sporting events serve as public squares for societal expression. The president's presence added a layer of political significance, transforming the event into a moment of civic expression. The scene set the tone for a day where off-court stories rivaled the athletic display. Behind the scenes, the United States Tennis Association, or USTA, made a troubling and controversial request to its broadcast partners, ABC and ESPN, just as the world's eyes were turning to the U.S. Open. This wasn't a simple production note or a technical suggestion. It was a direct appeal that would have far-reaching implications for how the event was covered and perceived by millions of viewers. The USTA specifically asked the networks to ignore any disruptions or protests related to the president's attendance at the tournament. In effect, they were requesting that the broadcasters actively avoid showing or mentioning any negative reactions from the crowd, essentially asking for a form of censorship during a live public event. This plea ran directly counter to the core principles of free speech and a free press. Journalists are tasked with reporting the truth, not shielding political figures from public criticism or uncomfortable moments. By asking the media to filter out dissent, the USTA was undermining the very foundation of journalistic integrity and the public's right to know what truly happens at major events. The USTA's desire to avoid controversy revealed a fundamental misunderstanding of their role as hosts of a public event. The U.S. Open is not just a tennis tournament, it's a stage where society, culture, and even politics can intersect. Trying to control the narrative only draws more attention to the controversy itself. Inviting a polarizing figure like the president to such a high-profile event naturally invites a range of public reactions, from cheers to boos and everything in between. These moments are part of the story, reflecting the mood and opinions of the crowd in real time. To ask the media to ignore or hide those reactions is not only hypocritical, but it also puts journalists in an impossible position, forcing them to choose between honest reporting and appeasing powerful interests. It's a request that fundamentally undermines the trust between the press and the public. Broadcasters are entrusted with the responsibility to show events as they truly unfold, not to present a sanitized or manipulated version of reality. The authenticity of live coverage is what gives it value and credibility. If networks were to comply with such requests, it would not only betray the trust of their audience, but also risk eroding public confidence in both the media and the institutions that seek to control them. Audiences expect transparency, not selective storytelling. Ultimately, the USTA's request put journalistic integrity to the test, raising a critical question. Should the broadcast serve the interests of the powerful or uphold its duty to inform the public honestly and without interference? ABC and ESPN made the right decision by broadcasting the truth, choosing journalistic integrity over political expediency. In a world where media outlets are often pressured to shape narratives or avoid controversy, their choice stands out as a bold commitment to transparency. Rather than sanitizing the broadcast or muting uncomfortable moments, they prioritized honesty, even when it meant airing something that might be unpopular or politically sensitive. When boos erupted from the crowd, ABC and ESPN let the sound play in real time, allowing viewers at home to experience the moment authentically. This wasn't just background noise. It was a genuine, unscripted reaction from the public, and the networks made sure it was heard. By doing so, they gave the audience a front-row seat to the raw, unfiltered emotions of the event. This decision affirmed the media's essential role in a healthy democracy, to provide an accurate reflection of reality, including its uncomfortable or controversial parts. Journalists are not just storytellers. They are witnesses to history, and their responsibility is to document events as they unfold, not as they wish them to be. Ignoring the crowd's reaction would have erased a significant public expression, effectively rewriting the story for the sake of convenience. The crowd's response was a vital part of the event, a collective voice that deserved to be heard and acknowledged. By broadcasting the boos, ABC and ESPN demonstrated that ordinary citizens' voices matter, regardless of whether those voices are harmonious or dissenting. They recognized that the audience is not just a passive observer, but an active participant in the story. They resisted the path of censorship, which is a hallmark of authoritarian states, and instead embraced the messiness and unpredictability of live events. This choice reinforced the idea that the media should not act as a filter, but as a window to the world as it truly is. The broadcasters upheld their pact with the audience, treating them as intelligent citizens capable of hearing dissent and forming their own opinions. They trusted viewers to interpret the moment for themselves rather than shielding them from reality. In the end, this decision was a powerful lesson in the importance of a free, independent media committed to telling the whole story. It's a reminder that journalism's highest calling is to serve the public by presenting the truth, even when it's uncomfortable, and to never underestimate the value of transparency in building trust with the audience. Booing political leaders at sporting events is a long-standing tradition, deeply woven into the fabric of public life. It's more than just a fleeting outburst. It's a powerful, visible expression of collective sentiment and a reminder that democracy thrives on open feedback, even when it's uncomfortable. These moments, echoing through stadiums and arenas, reflect a society unafraid to voice its opinions, no matter how prominent the figure in the spotlight. Throughout modern history, presidents from George W. Bush to Barack Obama have faced vocal disapproval from crowds at major sporting events. These reactions, sometimes surprising in their intensity, serve as a public barometer, revealing the mood of the nation in real time. The stadium becomes a stage where leaders are reminded that their actions and decisions are always under public scrutiny. These moments are raw, unscientific polls of public mood, showing that people are paying attention and holding leaders accountable. The energy in the stands, whether it's cheers, boos, or a mix of both, captures the pulse of the people in a way that no official survey ever could. The U.S. Open moment was especially significant, not just for the reaction itself, but for the attempt to censor it. In an era where narratives are carefully managed and public image is everything, the effort to suppress genuine crowd noise highlights a modern tension, the desire to control what the world sees and hears, even at the expense of authenticity. ABC and ESPN's decision to broadcast the raw audio, rather than sanitizing the moment, honored the tradition of authentic reporting. By letting the public hear the real reaction, they preserved the integrity of the event and respected the audience's right to witness history as it unfolded. Public reactions like these are not signs of societal collapse or disrespect. They are evidence of an engaged, passionate society. When people care enough to react, it means they are invested in the direction of their country and the actions of their leaders. These moments serve as a powerful reminder to leaders everywhere. They serve at the pleasure of the people, and public opinion cannot be ignored or silenced. The long history of these reactions normalizes booing as a legitimate form of speech, placing today's fans within a proud tradition of citizens using their voices in public spaces. In every era, from black and white photos to modern broadcasts, the crowd's response has been a vital part of the democratic process, reminding us all that the right to be heard is as important as the right to lead. Freedom of speech is woven into the fabric of society, from political slogans to spirited debates. The booing at the U.S. Open was a messy, loud, but legitimate form of expression. In a free country, disapproval of a political leader doesn't require permission. The crowd used their platform to send a message, exercising a fundamental right. Silencing them would deny their rights as citizens. This principle extends beyond the stadium, underpinning protests and whistleblowing. Defending the right to boo is about protecting the system that allows all opinions to be heard. By broadcasting the unfiltered sound, ABC and ESPN provided a real-world lesson in freedom of speech. The USTA's request for censorship was an attempt to set a dangerous precedent for media coverage. Compliance would have sent a chilling message: avoid controversy and protect the powerful. Each act of censorship erodes the foundation of a free press, making future censorship easier. Normalizing polished images of leaders creates a feedback loop of misinformation. This is how authoritarian control begins, with quiet requests to avoid disruptions. The refusal to comply reaffirmed the media's loyalty to truth and the public. Broadcasting the boos was not political. It was siding with reality. This act of journalistic courage serves as a counter-precedent, protecting media independence. The USTA's censorship request contradicted its celebration of breaking barriers, honoring Althea Gibson's legacy. Gibson broke the color barrier, facing hostility and prejudice. The USTA celebrated her courage while trying to silence modern dissent. This reveals a shallow understanding of breaking barriers as an ongoing, disruptive process. The USTA's history of broadcasting disruptions, like a climate protest, highlights its inconsistency. The selective approach to newsworthiness exposes hypocrisy, suggesting political calculation. Celebrating Gibson while muzzling the crowd sent a conflicting message about the USTA's commitment to its values. The organization appeared willing to sacrifice its principles to avoid political heat. In a world of curated images, moments of raw authenticity are powerful. The broadcast of the U.S. Open booze cut through political spin, offering a direct view of public sentiment. Seeing and hearing events firsthand makes denial difficult. Broadcasting the audio made the event an undeniable fact, part of the public record. Authentic images and sounds provide evidence, allowing viewers to witness events and draw conclusions. This transparency holds power accountable, forcing leaders to confront public opinion. Broadcasting the moment empowered viewers, respecting their intelligence and right to know. In a sea of manipulation, authentic moments from trusted sources are anchors of truth. The boos at Arthur Ashe Stadium were the soundtrack of democracy at work. ABC and ESPN's decision to broadcast them affirmed that truth must not be hidden. Presenting real public reactions is an act of democratic faith, not political bias. Accurate reporting helps us make informed decisions about leaders and policies. Hiding reality robs us of full participation in governance. Institutions must learn that public voices will be heard, and censorship attempts backfire. A healthy democracy is noisy, full of debate and dissent. The broadcasters preserved public discourse integrity, reminding us that the truth is worth listening to.